What up, my gentle nerds? I'm Riccardo, the Roleplay Gamer, and I like to party. This is not a review of Rise to Ruins. Rise to Ruins is a survival town builder tower defense with god powers. I know. Listen, it's a whole mishmash of a whole bunch of different shit, but let me tell you, it just works. It really does. Call Todd Howard. Alright, so I think this was made by one guy, which makes it even more incredible. So this is currently in early access, but all the little parts are starting to come together, and it's becoming a really satisfying experience. This is going to be a little bit different, this video, because I've actually put 48 hours into the game. I've been playing this on and off since, I think, earlier this year. And look, it's about time we give it some noise, because what a game. What a fantastic game. So, you've got Skirmish here, which is just a self-contained little thing. I think the maps might be a little bit smaller too, but I'm not 100% sure there. Some of them are. But then you've got the world map, right? So I've started a new profile here so we can start fresh. The way the world map works is if you've got all these little nodes that represent maps, and these are all predefined. I don't think there's any form of procedural generation, so you know exactly what you're going to get here. But this is almost kind of Dwarf Fortressy, which I appreciate. You know, you click and you have your, like, you know, you can sort of exploration sort of element here, and you get to see what it's going to be like. So you pick a region, and you start off with, you know, you've got a total of potentially 64 villages to start with in Limbo. So Limbo is this sort of like ethereal storage where you can grab things from even while you're in the maps, or you can send things to Limbo, right? So when you start a settlement, I think it gives you like 30 villages or so to start off with. So based on what you get in Limbo at the beginning, you can conceivably start 2 different settlements or villages without having to do, you know, much else. But if you want to expand to like the rest of the island here, well, you've actually got to actively take villages from your existing villages and send them to Limbo so that you can then put them into new villages around the map. It's actually really cool. So sure, you could jump in here and play just a self-contained little session on one of these maps, but then you could say, well, listen, I've done okay here, time to move on to a new one, right? And you can send resources, you can send villages, I think you can even send monsters. Why you do that, I'm not sure, but you can do it. You can do it. So we're just gonna jump into to a session here. Where am I gonna take you guys? Where am I gonna plop you down? Look, maybe somewhere with water. Not that it's, you know, totes necessary. Look, let's do this one here. Why not? Let's do this one here. I'm just going to show you, you know, the start of the game can be slow, so I'm not going to go like too deep into it. And I would like to jump into another profile and show you, you know, a couple of established settlements. But I'm going to try my best not to let this get you know, out of control here. So let's put down our camp. And we can actually put this wherever we want. You know, not on resources, but wherever there is space, we can put it, which is quite fantastic. So we don't have to place it in what looks like the most logical spot, but that's what I'm going to do, because it's easily defended, and that's important. So we put down our sort of village center, our camp, and then all the villagers come down from Limbo. So it looks like, how many have we got? 24? 24 plus a whole bunch more. 30, we got, alright, 40. So we get 40, okay, cool. Alright, we got 40, geez, that's a lot. We got 40 villages to start off with. So now, they're going to, we've also got a bunch of resources that come down with us, certainly enough to build our camp, and the camp is now done. And that's what it looks like there, but don't worry. We're going to be able to upgrade this baby. We can even do it now if we want, though we don't need to. We can upgrade this baby to the point where it's like a proper castle. It's really cool. That's one of the great things about this game is Most buildings can be upgraded, not just to increase their, just to, you know, improve their functionality, but they actually change. Their look changes, even if it's just subtly, and I really appreciate that. And you can also see all the individual resources. You can see your villagers carrying shit, and you can see them in the stockpiles and whatnot. Alright, so we've actually already got a farm here. Now this is something that you will find on these maps, is sort of abandoned structures that are at half health, essentially. So we can build a completely new farm. We can take this farm and demolish it if we want, but the smart thing to do here is just to reclaim it. It's going to take half the amount of resources to build it up, and then we'll have a farm. Alright, so while we're waiting for that farm to get going, we need some water. Now, we have a couple options for water. We can build a well, which produces water all year round at a slow pace, or we can build a rain catcher, which only produces water when it rains, but it's a lot of water. So we're going to do a rain catcher, because currently we're in spring, so there is a good chance of us getting rain. But let me tell you, I'm going to put the rain catcher right here, right next to the farm, which seems appropriate. Okay, farm is done. Let's assign 2 villagers to the farm. Right, so you've got to manage, you know, who's assigned to what. You've got to manage jobs. And look, there's full disclaimer here. Listen, guys, I'm going to forget some things. I'm going to not be able to mention some things because there's so much packed into this game that I really don't want it to be a 30-minute video, because it will be minimum if I go through everything. Then I'm still going to miss some stuff. But you know, so you've got to manage the jobs of your villagers, right? But you've also got to, like, sometimes give them some downtime, right? So if you've got some guys working on a lumber shack, for example, which we'll probably do, so we'll go to harvesting. Lumber shack, a staple building to harvest and store logs. Logs will be very important really soon for building arrows to put in our bow towers to defend when the night comes. So we're going to need one of these pretty quick. We put a whole bunch of our villagers working in the lumber shack, but hey, maybe we've got a whole bunch of logs stockpiled because they've been working for ages. Well, then let's pause the building, give them all some time off, and what are they going to do with their time off? Well, they're going to make friends with each other. Maybe they'll fall in love, maybe they'll mate, maybe they'll give birth to more villagers, which will then grow up and we can press into service in other buildings, right? So it's not just like managing. If you've got enough guys in all the buildings that you need to give them downtime too. It's incredible. We also need to give them homes, all right? So is this almost done? Oh, hang on. We've run out of logs, so we need to assign some wood harvesting. So we just grab our harvest wood little paint tool here and just highlight some wood there to be harvested. Kind of dwarf fortressy, which I appreciate. And we can also do the same for rock over here. So let's do that. Now, I imagine you probably don't want to send them out too far because then they might get lost, especially when you got monsters running around. We haven't got monsters just yet, but I think on the 3rd night they come around. Your villagers will also happily walk through water if they have to. It's much slower, but they will do it if they want. You could also... Can you build land bridges? Hang on. Yeah, it looks like you can. Alright, so we can actually destroy the water and build a bridge over there, I think. If we want, which is pretty cool. You can also build roads, but we won't get to that just yet. So let's get this lumber shack thing going. Now, hang on. We also need to assign some food here to be harvested so that they can put it in the farm. So unless you assign food, the farm's not going to do squat, right? So let's assign someone to the water maker as well, so that can actually start working. So what's going to happen is you can see turnips. You can actually see them, the farmers, going to grab the turnips, and they're going to plant them in the farm. And there you go. Now we've got a food supply. How cool is that? That's adorable. I love that. See, that's not a necessity, but I love that that's in there. You know, just the little detail of actually being able to see the folks, you know, grabbing the individual resources. We've actually got a lot of food here. We don't need to harvest the water just yet, I don't believe. I think that's just for... what is it for? For the water purifier. Okay, so I would like to put, no, not a refinery, because we have to refine resources as well. I would like to put a lumber shack down here, but we've got some doohickeys in the way. So I'm going to hit 5 and just clear all that out. We don't need to get rid of the rocks, but clear all that out. And 5 is just to destroy terrain, you know, to make room for stuff. So there's a difference between harvesting and destroying terrain, right? So if we wanted to like cut this out to put a building in there, we could harvest it, but then we won't be able to put anything into place because it's still like bedrock or something, or I don't know quite how it works. But then if we actually destroy the terrain, I'm not sure if we get the resources. We might not, but then it's going to be clear and free to actually build stuff there. So almost done, almost done. Yep, they're going strong with the farm. Good stuff. Rock seems to take a little while to destroy. Not a problem. The flowers, though, not a problem. Just kill the flowers, dude. It's not a problem at all. Alright. I don't think flowers are good for anything, so that doesn't matter. I'm really encouraged by our abundance of food here. Potatoes as well. Look, Kluga will be pleased. He'll be real proud of us. So there you go. You put that down and you're good to go. So you can also upgrade this stuff. So you start out generally with makeshift. Insert building name here. Then you can upgrade to, you know, just building name, and then it'll be established building name. I'm not sure about with everything, but it seems that the rain catcher, for example, level 2 essentially will increase its storage size, and level 3 will increase its storage size again, and also allow you to assign one more water master to it. So you've got 2 folks working on it. So the water gets distributed quicker, I assume. So we've got a situation here where the farm is poorly watered because we haven't got any water because it hasn't rained. So it might be a good idea to also get a well down. Just like we could put it. Can we put it there? No. Just put it in there. So you can't overlap borders with other buildings, but you can overlap on roads, which I appreciate if you want to do that. Roads is a whole other thing, right? So you go, where is it? Is it manufacturing? You go Waymaker Shack, you put down a Waymaker Shack, and I'm not 100% sure that this is how it works, but just from my observations, the way I believe it works is as soon as you put down a Waymaker Shack and you assign some folks to it, then the most walked routes will start to become paths like this, you know, these sort of makeshift paths. And you can choose to use resources to make those makeshift paths into proper paths, like log paths and then stone paths and so on and so forth. They actually upgrade quite a few times. It's pretty cool. Or you can choose to build your own paths elsewhere. It's really, really cool. I mean, just the detail in here. And the Waymaker Shack also allows you to dig holes. So you can dig moats, you can dig like ponds that will fill up when it rains, which then I think you can harvest to be put in the water purifier to make proper, to make usable water. It's incredible. All right, so let's put 4 guys into our lumberjack, into our lumber shack rather. So that allows us to have 4 villagers staffed there, but that doesn't mean that we should have 4 villagers staffed there. We don't need that much lumber, at least not yet. So I mean, like there are certain buildings like the farms that I feel like you should staff to maximum because you need the food, dude. Also, water makers are probably a good idea to staff to maximum. But, you know, for basic resources, you don't necessarily need to. You can adjust how many villagers are working there based solely on how much wood you need, you know, and how much is coming in. So we also probably desperately need houses. You got see the little house icons? They're like, dude, we're homeless. Hook us the fuck up. So, you know, we can reclaim some of these tents. But we can also just build new tents if we want. We can build small shacks. We can build small hovels, which is some big boys there. Now, the shacks are going to require a refined resource, which is logs. I mean, sorry, planks. So then you go down to refining and you build a lumber mill, right? And that's going to take the logs from the lumber shack and refine them into planks, which are used for more advanced building, right? So essentially what's happening here is, for example, we can upgrade the camp right now, and it only needs logs and it needs stone. Now, the builders will happily harvest both log and stone for the purpose of building, but they won't harvest raw resources for the purpose of refining. So if we want to build something that only uses logs, they'll harvest it and build it. But if we want to build arrows, which we should, which only uses logs, they won't do it. Does that make sense? So for building, they'll gather resources, but for refining, we have to have them already gathered from the lumber shack. I know it sounds confusing, but once you get used to it, it actually makes some sense, and it's not a big issue. So we need the lumber shack in order to feed our boa, in order to make arrows, in order to feed our bow towers, which we can build here. And let me tell you got some dank towers, ballasted towers, banished towers, attract towers, a barracks, which is going to house and field guards that will patrol, bullet towers, which, you know, you make bullets out of rocks, so we need a stone cutter, I think, and then a tumbler, elemental bolt towers, which grabs, so we need an essence collector, which is going to grab essence from dead creatures and villagers, I think, even, and that's going to power our magical towers. We've got an outpost, which is like a small barracks, sling tower. There's all this shit. We got like a golem little towers, things that'll produce golems, fire pits, which not only produce light but extend our building range. What else have we got? Aid, so we got a clinic and ancillary structures, which basically gets folks to it increases our build limit, but it also has little guys to like go around and clean shit up and help with hauling shit if we want. It's not, ancillaries are not that, you know, big of an issue for build limit, because it's usually easier to just, you know, upgrade your camp here, which we'll do just quickly. And then, you know, you got walls of varying kinds up to curtain walls, and you got little gates you can build into those walls. Storage for basically every resource type. We can build armor and weapons, tools. Guys, there's a lot here. It's deceptively dank. You've got all these magical shit. So I think the color skate, a sacrificial pond that will convert material items and living tissue onto essence. No, that's not right. Is that right? Dropped inside. If you use too fast, it will overload. Yeah, I think so. I think that's what you use to send stuff to limbo, maybe. Or you might just banish your enemies to a random location on the map. There might also be a spell here for sending stuff. Here we go. Send to limbo or take from limbo. There you go. So, you know, it's sort of ticking down resources there. 24 villages that we can pop down from limbo. Or we go send to limbo. Gregory, sorry buddy, you've gone to limbo. Don't worry about it. We can also grab resources if we want. We can grab them from structures. We can grab them from the environment. Not a problem. We can put down a meteor. People are scared. They're real upset about that. We can motivate the land, which is one of my favorites. Which is good for growing trees and whatnot. Alright, so you'll see in a second, hopefully. There you go. It's regrowing trees, which is fantastic for replenishing resources, but also for making natural defenses with trees, which is really cool. We can earthquake, start fires, dissolve, heal our guys. We can put down a holy golem to defend the settlement. There's a lot of stuff here, guys. It's incredible. This is just scratching the surface because this is a really dank, shitty, small town. But let's get out of here. I'm going to move to my other profile just quickly before the video gets too long. And I'm going to show you an example of a more established town. Profile, the Roleplay Gamer. Let's play it, baby. World map. Let's go. Loading pretty darn quick. The game runs well. I imagine it would run on a potato. Not a problem there. Where is my... Here it is. Alright, so let's go to this one. I've got 2 villages here. And we're going to go to Springland. Which one has more settlers? Total 40. Total 40. It's about the same. Alright, so it seems that with the villages that you start off with in Limbo, you've sort of got enough to start 2 towns. Beyond that, then you have to start, you know, any increase of villages you get from nomads or just, you know, breeding of your villages, then you can send them to Limbo and then start another town that way. But, you know, here's my dank little town. As you can see, it's pretty well defended. You know, we've got, it's just a wood fence, but it's enough for now. We've got a wood fence all the way around pretty much. Actually, we've got a gap here that I would like to close up. We've got a gate here that these guys will happily use if they need to, you know, once we close that up. And, you know, towers, bow towers. So I have upgraded these to level 2. Makeshift bow tower, that's level 1. Level 2 is just a regular bow tower, and then I think it upgrades to an established bow tower, and that will increase its damage, which is pretty cool. And of course, those bow towers are supplied by the makeshift bower here, and you can see them carrying the arrows to the towers, which is really cute. We've got a large village center here. What happens if we upgrade it? We can upgrade it to established village center. Look, we may as well do that. I was having some issues with running out of water, all right, let me tell you, because once summer comes around, so you got seasons. Once summer comes around, it hardly ever rains, if at all, and it starts, you know, shit starts getting real, let me tell you, and people start dying of dehydration. It's really bleak. As you can see, you know, our large farm here is poorly watered. We desperately need more water. Luckily, our water is currently going up because it is autumn. So, you know, it's not so hot that everyone's dehydrated. Child Spectre. What? Oh, is that because a child died? Can we resurrect them? Hold on. Hold on. Where's resurrect? Does that work? No, that might be something else. Look, it's fine. And I actually dug this moat. This wasn't here. I dug that with dig a hole to catch rain, essentially. Now, you can dig off of existing water sources and they'll fill up, or you can just dig a hole and it'll rain in. That's fine. But I've broken it up because otherwise, you know, these guys don't care. They'll happily walk across water and it slows them down, as you can see. So I figure I may as well... Look, they're still not using the roads. But I figure, look, I may as well give them some paths, some proper paths to traverse here. And we can also turn some of these paths into, there we go, log path if we so desire. There we go. Why not? And that's going to get our Waymakers into action. And there they are, Waymakers, and they're going to go off and build those paths. Eventually. There you go, they're using the gate. It's beautiful. So there you go, you know, I got my tents, I got my defense structures. I got some of my sort of second tier refining buildings that are, you know, cutting stone or turning logs into planks and whatnot so that I can build small shacks and upgrade my village center. It's pretty dank. I think the next step here is, you know, just making sure I don't lose villagers from dehydration, and then stepping up the defenses, because at this point, day 10, look, it's starting, when the monsters come, it gets a little bit dank. Let me tell you, it gets a little bit hot and heavy. But look, my plan here is to then dig out, or sort of mine out, deforest, if you will. You know, mine trees, dude. This is in Minecraft. You know, deforest some of this and build out that way. Very, you know, very closed off and defensible. As you can see, you know, once shit gets real, you can see the monsters start developing little camps, little graveyard spawners, and it's not just... I mean, they'll attack you only at night, but they're around during the day at this point, and it gets dangerous to sort of explore around a little bit. So, you know, be careful with expansion there. But there we go, we've upgraded a little bit. It's increased our build limit, and you know, it sort of makes the settlement look a little bit more dank. But listen, guys, what a game! What a fantastic game! I have a lot of fun with this, and you know, as you can see, just by the fact that I got 48 hours in the game, you can tell that I enjoy it very much, and feels good. It feels good to finally do a video about it, because I do enjoy it so much. It's certainly getting to a point where, you know, the early accessness of it is coming together and it's becoming a dank little game. And you can see they're starting to build the log path here. Then you can also upgrade it to... God, what can you upgrade it to? a cobble and log path, and then I think it's a cobble and plank path after that, and then probably more after that. It's pretty insane. But listen, guys, if I were to give it a dank rating, I think I'd say it's a 7 out of 8. It's definitely almost full dank. It's it's very good. It's not easy, you know. It's it will fuck you over. If it's not the monsters that gets you, it'll be dehydration or starvation or something. You know, something's gonna get you. But once you start figuring it out, and you know, you get further and further, it's really satisfying. You know, it's I love all the little branching, you know, kind of resources and the refining of it, and the different tiers of resource management there, which in other games, you know, can kind of frustrate me. Like, I know it's like you get to a certain point where it's like, oh, I can't be bothered keeping track of all this shit anymore. But in Rise to Ruins, I find it very satisfying, and I still enjoy, you know, building my big towns. Guys, anyway, guys, look, listen. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked the video, leave a like. If you didn't, maybe leave a dislike and tell me why in the comments down below. But in any case, thank you very much for watching. Taste the game, be excellent to each other, and I'll see you next time. Roleplay Gamer, out.